Yo, what is good, everybody? I'm back on the YouTube grind, and I'm bringing out a video that's been highly anticipated from my Discord and from Instagram DMs and also TikTok on what I look for every single morning when I'm trading. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what I look for every single day. So starting off with the left-hand side, I have a bearish play. So here, what I'm looking for every single morning is going to be if I find an accumulation level, manipulation level, I'm going to have a distribution setup. So obviously following the AMD, and if you've been trading ICT, that is something I'm looking for, and a lot of traders do look for as well. But in case we don't get the AMD structure, then that 830 manipulation when market opens is going to be your best friend. So when market opens on New York, we're going to see a manipulation either go up or down. I'm going to go ahead and explain that manipulation going up for this setup right here. So here on the setup right here, we're going to have a OTE pull from the swing high to the swing low. And we really want to see us tap into one of these levels here, whether it's, equilibrium or one of these levels from OTE, optimal trade entry. If you want to be specific, we want to have a clean rejection with a high time frame PD rate. Until we spot that, you're going to look at the high time frame PD rates and how we're rejecting it from either a 5-minute view, 15-minute view. Also, the 1 minute is going to show you a reversal setup. So when we go in here, we're going to pretty much see an IFEG form or a CISD form, and we really want to have that to our side, mainly because that's going to be our entry model. So going to the entry model, we really want to see the FPG form, CISD as well. I enter personally once the CISD gets displaced, mainly just to have more extra confirmation, but it's also more of like a kind of like a breaker structure, I guess you could say. But yes, I really want to just enter on a CISD, so my entry would be right here. Hypothetically speaking, I'll go ahead and show you guys a chart view example as well. But here I'm entering, and then I pretty much want to target session liquidity. PD rates are resting below here, or previous session session lows, session liquidity, whatever you want to explain it. Just liquidity that's resting on the market down here. But in case you don't, in case that you missed that initial setup, that distribution phase, you could always kind of catch a continuation from this setup as well. So either we have a tap from equilibrium or a level within OTE. Again, from the imbalances that we create from the distribution leg, we could also just highlight those fair value gaps or imbalances that we create, like an overblock or a breaker block, whatever you want to call it. So from there, we obviously see solid rejection, and we don't want to go any higher, so we're seeing the rejection happen. Then we'll enter again with a CISD or IFEG. So that's pretty much what I look for. If I miss my initial entry, I'll go ahead and short again right there. And I'll just use my stop loss as a rejection from the very top. So wherever rejected would be my stop loss, and that would be my trade again. So you could get this trade in to seek out the rest of the lows that are out there. But in case you don't get that setup, and I like to call this scenario 1, I like to call this scenario 2, is if we get a bullish continuation, and that's from the same thing, just inverted pretty much. So here we have a swing low to swing high. We take the OTE pool, and we're going to pretty much spot high time frame fair value gaps or different PD arrays in the market, which could be a rejection block, order block, whatever goes in your favor and whatever you look for. And like I said, we're really just looking for AMD. But if we don't get the AMD, that 830 market open New York manipulation is going to be your best friend. So here I have a continuation setup at the same time a reversal. So from here we want to see us tap obviously into OTE and then go into ACISD IFEG reversal model and take out obviously the rest of the draws on liquidity that's resting above. And then like I said, but like on this side, if you miss this initial entry, there could be another play that we go back for a pullback because it's obviously external to internal ranges that we need to go seek out. So we go back to external, and then from there seek out internal, structure that's inside. So we could get a OTE pull again from the swing low to swing high, see a solid rejection if we get one, and then from there go ahead and enter with another CISD or IFEG. And then also with SMTs too, if even if we get SMTs like right here, that's even better to be honest. I like to spot a lot of SMT within session market liquidity. If we, if NQ sweeps out London and ES doesn't sweep out London, and we're seeing a reversal happen right in front of us within an OTE pool and a high time frame gap or PD array, from there I'm going to be able to enter a plus setup in my opinion. So that's going to be what we look for every single day. And just in case I don't get this one, I like to go with scenario 2. So going ahead and going into the chart view, I'm going to go ahead and explain that right now. So today, as of 6/16, is going to be a perfect entry model that I will be looking for every single day, every single morning. So what I pretty much pay attention to is that 9:30 open. I know I've been saying 8:30. It's 8:30 Central Time for me when market does open. So, and from here on out, I'll be using the 9:30 Eastern Time time zone, obviously. But whenever we open at 9:30, I want to see that manipulation happen. I want to see something go in our favor, either seeking liquidity into a reversal model, or if I don't get the reversal model, continuation. Like if I was going to go up here, if we wanted to continue higher, then I would go ahead and pull my OTE leg. So if I was confused and if I already wasn't bearish here, since we're already following the trend, this is a bearish trend. This is why following trend is super important, so you could read the market here. So going on to a 15-minute time frame, kind of want to show you guys what I'm talking about whenever I pull all these OTEs. I want to look for a high time frame gap or something that has a, which is obviously any PD array. And right now we do reject the 618 level pretty good off that high time frame. And if I want to be more precise and I create a heat zone within PD arrays, then I'll just go ahead and draw out more PD arrays that exist on a smaller time frame to be more precise. So here on the 1 minute, I do see a fair value gap that we reject or have a potential of rejecting in the market because it follows under the OTE optimal trade entry a level. So here we hit the CE of this fair value gap and the 618 level. And once I see solid rejection from there, which is this candle did end up rejecting here, right? We would want to see some sort of order flow telling us to go down, and we want to see in a fair value gap that wants to get inversed or a CISD entry. So now that we have a 3 candle CISD setup right here, we will want to enter on the displacement of the CISD. At least that's what I do. You can enter on the IFEG if you want, but if you get both with clean displacement, I'll go ahead and do the IFEG as well, just for that extra RR. So here I would go ahead and do a short position. I would use my rejection high as my stop loss, and I'll go ahead and seek out the rest of the drawn liquidity that we need to take, right? So either we take out the rest of the drawn liquidity that we just opened it up with on that initial rejection from market open, or we could spot out other liquidity pools in the market like this from New York AM lunch from previous session, and at the same time a low that New York AM session did hit too. So from there we would want to see us target the rest of the drawn liquidity. But if you miss this initial entry, you could do the same thing over and over. So if you're reading obviously the sense of the direction of where we're going, this is just straight up bearish PA. So we're gonna obviously continuation down. So here we're continue down, not continuation down. So we get the swing high to the swing low. Here we reject off the 705 level pretty well. And here I do see a rejection off a balanced price range, which is pretty much a BPR. So here, once we inverse this gap, we could use it as a rejection point or another PD ray, and it's called a BPR. So we do a solid rejection on the BPR range, and we could use that as a rejection block too. So we have a rejection there, could use that as a PD ray, and now we would look for a CISD or a fair value gap to inverse from this continuation leg there. So inversion displacement there, CISD displacement there. If you really wanted to play it safe, I go ahead and do a short position there. Put our stop loss at the protected eye from the initial rejection and target the rest of the drawn liquidity like that, or for the rest of the drawn liquidity that needs to be seeked out in the market. So in this case, I would have just went on for this one to play it safe, but we did reach out to those previous session lows and even way longer. So this is what I'm pretty much looking for every single morning. These short positions was really A plus. I'm not sure why I didn't take them. I did the long entry this time, thinking that we are gonna do reversal since we are on high. Since we're all time high, so I just really wanted to be bullish there. But one trade a day is my rules that I have, and it did make some money going up, so I was fine, completely fine with what I made instead of going for these short positions. So I'm not really stressing about it, but it was a really good play. And here, if I do it in inverted scale, it's going to be the same thing, but just in a bullish format. So here we have a 618 level rejection off the 1 minute fair value gap, or at the same time 5 minute, 15 minute that we saw earlier. And I'll go ahead and show you that right now so we're not confused. 5 minute gap right here, rejection. 15-minute gap, rejection as well. And then if you really want to be like Powell and be more precise, you can spot these rejection blocks pretty cleanly. And here we have one that taps into the CE, and you would use a stop loss as that initial low that it did take for that rejection block. And you'll be bottom ticking, top ticking like that as well. But for me, I like to play safe, which is IFGs and CISDs, but mainly just CISDs, not IFGs. But yeah, here we have a CISD. We could enter there, IFG as well. We could enter and target the rest of the draw and liquidity that's in the market here, or obviously what's onto the left hand side. So we have this high here from the previous session. We'll target that draw and liquidity. And like I said, in case you missed this initial play, then you could go ahead and catch the continuation play again. So here we have a rejection, like I said, from the balanced price range that we did do earlier, and then we have a rejection block from that balanced price range. We go ahead and take that up there, and then we have a solid rejection from the rejection block as a PD ray. We would enter an IFEG here or CISD there, and then go ahead and target the rest of the draw on liquidity, just in case you missed this initial entry here. So, and then at the same time, CISD gets tapped into it pretty cleanly as well. So this could be a bottom tick there. So that's pretty much what I look for every single morning. There's nothing that I change. There's nothing that I do. If I don't get this set up, then I'm going to go ahead and not trade for the day. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do a backtesting video. I think it's like about 8-9 trades. That way you could see different setups that happen within that backtesting session. That way you could have a little bit more proof of this model working and going in my favor pretty much. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed and at the same time understood exactly what I was trying to say. And if not, then I'll go ahead and make a longer video explaining what everything means in more of a detailed, structured way. But this is what it is in hindsight. Again, I appreciate you guys for watching, and if you guys want to invite to the Discord where I do all my callouts pretty much and have active students learning this in real time while we all trade live, you can go ahead and join on the link in the description. I'll go ahead and leave it there. It is through WAP, so it's just more verification for me. At the same time, it just works out better because I am trying to have more better WAP reviews, and it just helps me in the long run. So yeah, here is just some of those things that we always do in the market every single day. And if you really want to check out more proof, I have all my highlights on my Instagram, exactly what I do every single morning, and everybody that banks every single morning using this model or some form of sort of like something familiar towards this model. So yeah, appreciate you guys for watching again. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.